Welcome back to Combat Sports Weekly. I'm Jorge Hernandez.
And I'm Jody Escobar. This is the part of the show where we have a verbal sparring match. We've brought in a panel of experts, and they will have 30 seconds to state their case. If they run over the 30 seconds, I get to punch them in the face. I don't know, maybe.
Let's kick the roundtable in. Joining us, two guests from 6'10", the sports animal, James Lindenmuth. Welcome back. I think you've set the record for the most amount of comebacks here.
You guys tried to fire me. I just keep showing up.
Yeah, the door's always open. We don't lock it, so
and I'll come in the back if I have to.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and if anybody's out there watching, please check us out, 6'10", the sports animal, every Thursday at 5:35 for our weekly MMA and boxing segment.
Yeah. And to the right of the screen here, we have our first time, for the first time joining us here is Wayne Dumas, CombatSportsPress.com. Welcome, man.
CombatPress.com. One of the best websites for interviews of fighters. Check them out. Twitter handles @DumasMMA. Thank you for having me.
No, of course, man. It's a pleasure to have you. Let's jump right into it. The first topic here. Ronda Rousey over the weekend, in case you guys were not watching, made a WWE appearance at the largest show, Wrestlemania. 76,000 people at Levi's Stadium. What do you think that she's this big time now?
Well, I mean, I think we all knew that she had that kind of appeal. I hope I don't alienate any of my listeners, but I've never been a huge professional wrestling fan, so I saw some highlights, but it's not something I checked out. From what I understand, it was a good performance by her. Although as I was talking to Wayne about it, he said it did seem a little forced. So, but she's hit the limelight, that's for sure.
Yeah, and what do you think from here? More movies, more?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, she'll go down that route of filming movies, as long as she continues to win, obviously.
Yeah. Wayne, I don't know how big of a, fan you are of WWE. What did you think of this, or what did you make of this?
You can't get any bigger than being side by side with The Rock and across the ring with Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. I think anybody that is remotely thinking about any acting would have loved the limelight. Like I was telling James, she seemed kind of forced with the semi-scripted aspect of everything, but she performed well and she didn't get hurt. Yeah. That's the big thing.
Yeah, imagine if she'd gotten injured filming something
that would have been bad. And now, Jody, obviously, you're keeping an eye out for her. She's the biggest name in women's mixed martial arts and just MMA in general now. What do you think?
You know what? I feel like Ronda Rousey can't do anything wrong right now. She has everything going for her. She's the champ. She's dominant. Who can challenge her right now? Why not? Just go for it, girl. Like, whatever. She works hard, and I appreciate it. And it's cool. Maybe you start acting. I mean, be smart about it, and don't drag MMA through any kind of negativity. But I think it's great. Whatever.
Yeah, I think it was really interesting just because of the timing of it all. Obviously, they're all trying to promote each other. Plus, let's not forget, the Fast and Furious 7, which both of them are starring and co-starring in, is actually also taking place.
That was a total coincidence, I'm sure.
Yeah,
right.
It's a total coincidence.
Absolute
But
coincidence.
I just think it goes to show, how much weight she carries. The crowd was chanting for her, and
when you're a performer, you're a performer. And like you said, the crowd's into it, everybody's into it, and I just stole some of your time.
That's okay. I mean, I completely agree. I think the sky's the limit for her, obviously. So, very next topic. It's within the WWE realm. Of course, Brock Lesnar. You can pretty much consider that he announced his retirement by him signing a multi-year deal with the WWE. Wayne, I'll start with you. What would you say his legacy was with mixed martial arts, even though as short as it was, he was able to accomplish some pretty big things?
As short as it was, he is one of only 4 heavyweights to defend the title more than once, which is huge to continue his legacy. I think he's a Hall of Famer for what he did. He walked in, he took names, took belts, and left. And that's what he was planning on doing.
Yeah. Did you think that he would have that type of effect when he first came over?
You know what? I didn't expect him to run through Randy Couture the way he did, which surprised everybody, I think, except for hardcore Brock Lesnar fans. Yeah. But he said he was going to win the title within 4 fights, and he did it. And if it wasn't for 2 illnesses, he would probably still be
You had to
champion.
bunch him because he took some of your time.
Oh, okay.
All right, James.
We'll do that later.
James, go ahead. What did you think of, do you think it's over for him, MMA?
Yeah,
because of this?
absolutely. And his legacy is going to be divided into 2 different categories as far as I'm concerned. Your casual fan is probably going to see him as, oh, that was that guy that came from the WWE and fought in the UFC. Your hardcore fan who actually watched, and I mean, like he said, the success that he was able to have, and he's going to be remembered to hardcore fans as the only wrestler that's been able to make that transition and actually be successful. And also, I think of him as a true soldier. Anybody who knows anything about diverticulitis, the fact that he was up and walking around after those illnesses is amazing.
Yeah, he jumped into your time, so we might have to spread
Brace
these punches
for it.
around.
I'm gonna brace for it.
I didn't think that he was going to make such a big impact in the beginning, and so for him to run through and make that big of a statement, and then now he gets out and makes his money and doesn't take the damage that he's taking in the UFC, then I think it's smart, guys. Fighters got to be smart, and they have to prepare for the future, and it's cool.
Yeah, he preserves his health and he preserves a large amount of cash that this juggernaut that is the WWE is making. I mean, for 76,000 people to show up at, what is an exhibition. I've gotten a chance to go to a couple of WWE events and I've sat in the first and second row. The athleticism you cannot deny, despite the fact that it's scripted. So when he first came over, I thought people were dismissing him a lot. Like he didn't have that wrestling pedigree,
Right.
during his college years.
Yeah.
So for him, is he going to go down as an all-time great? I don't necessarily think so, but nonetheless, he did leave his mark in the sport.
Absolutely.
Last and final topic, it was a guest we had earlier in the show, Damacio Page. James, start with you. What do you think the chances of him getting back to the UFC actually are, especially on this little run that he's on?
If he continues to win and win in the fashion in which he has been, he absolutely has a chance to get back in. Because if you look at some of the fighters, and mainly maybe Keith Jardine, we'll use him as an example, even if he wasn't necessarily winning all the time, his fights were exciting. He went out there and put it all out on the line. And Damacio has always been known for that. Even when he loses, it's a fight, and it's entertaining. So if he continues to win the way that he has, I think they'd absolutely re-sign him.
Yeah,
I really do. It's
one or
it's
two
fun to
fights
watch.
away. What do you think?
2, I would say he needs a couple, 2 more spectacular kind of finishes, and then let's sign the contract.
Wayne, it's a guy we've seen here locally for years. What do you think his chances are? And how soon?
I saw his last fight live, and he was rocked. He was rocked, and he came back, and he's got the heart of a champion. But his next test, I've seen the guy live. His next test, Alexandre, he's a beast too. You can't count him out. He was almost out at RFA 18 and came back in the 3rd round submission. The 2nd and 3rd round, he just destroyed. The thing about Damacio is he's got to get past this next punch. If he does, he'll be fighting top 15 UFC.
It's a guy that you watch closely on a daily basis because he's out of your gym. But what do you think of his chances of getting back?
You know what, because we are a big family there at the gym, I root for Damacio, and he's such a hard worker, and like you said, he's got a big test ahead of him, and to win this next fight, is a big statement. His last fight was a big statement, but he wins 2 fights, and you can't really deny that. Does he stay healthy? Does he stay motivated? Does he stay positive? That's what I hope for him.
I think he has a couple of things going against him. He's on this ride. He dropped down to 125, where he's essentially just doing extraordinarily well. Obviously, one of the KOs of the year, if not the KO of the year last year. I think the things against him is, one, he did go 0-3 the first time around in the UFC. He's 32 years old. The UFC might see it as a risk for him to go to that division and beat some of those younger guys, say like a Sergio Pettis or someone like that. Obviously, he just recently lost, but I don't see any reason why he couldn't be back up there, especially on the run that he's been on.
32 is not that old.
No, 32 is not that old. I
And
mean,
125 is very thin.
Yes, it is very good.
Let's
Thank you
just
for
put
clearing that
that
up.
on the table there.
Wayne, James, Jody, of course, as always. It's a pleasure to have you guys. Definitely like to have both of you guys back sometime, but love the topics that we went over. Great insight and input, but that'll do it.
And no one got punched.
And no one got punched, so that'll do it for this episode. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter and Facebook, Combat Sports Weekly. We'll see you guys next week.